what Dorothy was pointing out to, it's back in here that you can't hear anything. So I'm trying to see if this doesn't fix that.
No, I didn't realize there were speakers in here, but I was hearing my voice. Are there speakers back there?
Yeah, there's, I think that just beyond that pillar by the light, see the speaker over there on the ceiling? There is a speaker over there.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello. I guess I just never realized that there were speakers in here.
Hi, Sandy.
It is. Hey, how you doing?
Somebody's glasses?
Yeah, not mine. Oh, gosh. I don't know.
What was here?
Number 1. Where is it located?
David, do you know what one is?
It's essentially a town-wide district that doesn't encompass the specific districts like Blueberry or
Hill.
Pumpkin Hill, Blueberry, Rose Hill, those types. Or I think Rose Hill's in the consolidated district, but it's a town-wide district essentially.
So it's a catch-all for any districts, any lighting that the town owns outside of these specific districts.
And so do you have anything specific where that's going under this current budget?
It's a part of the lighting districts in the budget.
Yeah, I mean, so where is it going to go?
This isn't a new district. I mean, this isn't new lights that are going to go up. These are existing.
Existing lights. So so just clarify, new ones are going to go into Pumpkin Hill?
No.
No.
These are all existing districts now. They currently exist.
Okay.
Lighting is currently in these spots. They only get onto these, as a part of a lighting district, once the lighting's installed, it's all set up. So these are not new lighting at all.
It's similar to a sidewalk district. If there's an area that has subdivisions that have sidewalks, then you have a sidewalk district. The people that live within those areas contribute to those districts. So, like we used to have individual town drainage districts before the town went to a town-wide drainage district. So, if you lived in an area that you've been paying into you had a certain percentage of your tax dollars went into a drainage district, then if you had a drainage problem, the town could come in there and work on that. For an example, if I was in it, then my neighbor 2 or 3 houses down wasn't in that drainage district, the town, they never paid into the drainage district, so the town couldn't do any drainage work within that area of their property. So it's a lighting district where there's street lights. You go into a subdivision. Certain subdivisions have them. Whispering Winds and then Westchester, the 2 subdivisions off of Charlie Avenue. Whispering Winds has streetlights. The other one does not. So they don't pay into it.
Because we have districts, we're required to have, and they have to be included in our public hearing for the budget. That's why they're really listed here. So the expenditures, because it's a district. So that might be why you're getting a little confused, but if that
Yes.
helps at all.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Mary. So then the sidewalks,
Years of
these are
experience.
existing sidewalks that are already there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so again, the reason they are in the new budget is because,
They're in every budget.
They're in every
They've
budget.
been every
Every
budget.
year.
There's existed for every year.
okay, so if we wanted new sidewalks someplace else, how do we do that?
We do have a sidewalk reserve that we use from time to time, depending on where the sidewalks are going to go. If there is a sidewalk and pedestrian plan that the town has, typically that sidewalk and pedestrian plan will kind of dictate what the priority is and where sidewalks would go based on that study. So if you as a resident, you want a sidewalk down your street, you can certainly, request that happen. I don't know that it would happen, depending on funding sources, the logistics of the property, whether or not it's feasible at all. Some areas are more challenging than others, depending on drainage and the way the roads are configured. And it also depends a lot of times if it's a town road, county road, or state road. So it's certainly much easier for us to put in sidewalks on town roads because we don't have to go to other agencies. County roads and state roads work a little bit differently. So we'd have to get permission from so if you wanted one down Attridge Road, I believe that's a state road, is it?
In Monroe County.
Okay, so you'd have to go to the county, say we'd like a sidewalk down Attridge Road, and then the county would deal with that. That wouldn't be necessarily a town project.
But then we also look at the usage too. You look at development. It's like a business coming in, say a Wegmans or a Tops. They're going to do a study to say, okay, we do have the need for it. We do have the capacity. So they'll do a market study and say, okay, like for sidewalks, then you want to say, okay, how many subdivisions are in the area? Where are they trying to go to? Are they trying to go to Charlie Paul Plaza? Are they trying to go to a park? So what is the amount of subdivisions or residents within that area? You're not going to put it out on Union Street down by Morgan Road. There's not a lot of usage that would go out there. So they would look at, you would do the type of market study to see, is there a need for it in that area, and go from there.
So if I or someone, another resident, would like to put a request in for a sidewalk, say, how do we do that?
Well, it depends on the municipality that if it's a county road with the county of Monroe, the county road, DOT perhaps.
Tom Fries, Director of Transportation.
If it's a state road, you'd have to go to state DOT, and a town road, certainly that's something you could email us, and we'd take a look at that.
Or no specific person, just a general email
That's
to the
correct.
town?
And
Okay.
then also the town has,
Directly to
You
me.
can check with David to
You-
see what
yeah.
kind of road it
You can
is.
check them, David
Who owns
Lindsay,
the
or you
road.
can send it to me.
Right.
More than happy to look into them.
Okay. How about this Lexington Park District? I don't know what that is.
In Lexington Park, Lexington, go ahead, David, you want to take it?
Sure. There's a median. There's a grass median in the Lexington Park, along Lexington Parkway. There's a district that was created for the maintenance of that grass median, essentially.
the island separates the
Island.
The town
northbound, southbound.
cuts it or maintains trees. or-
There's some mowing. There's some trees along there. There's some weeding that gets done, and there's a district that's created for the maintenance of that.
And that Lexington is, the one I'm familiar in is way
Lexington
down?
Parkway.
Lexington Parkway.
Lexington Parkway,
Lexington
it's the
Parkway.
east side of Chyla, it's over near where I live.
Near what?
Well, that helps.
Oh, okay,
Subdivision, yeah.
okay. And then, I'll let someone else talk, and then I'll come back. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak at the public hearing? Yes, sir.
Try it.
Quiero hablarle porque
We can try Google Translate, do something
no
like
me
that.
gusta el otro mes
Uno
estuve
momento,
aquí,
please.
estate presente y me negaron el derecho a hablar. En el estado de Nueva York no hay ninguna ley que me prohíba hablar español. No existe una ley. Y
I don't know
eso
how to-
es
I don't know how to-
discriminación.
We,
Sir, I understand we put a request in for a translator and one is not here.
Y si no me quieren escuchar, déjenme hablar y después yo me voy.
anybody
Pero
here know
esto es
Spanish?
discriminación.
He said that there's no one here.
Oh, you understood that? Okay.
He said no
Yeah,
one can understand him, and so no
we-
one. no one's saying it.
We put in a request for the company to provide us a Spanish translator.
Dawn, let it go.
They don't appear to be
Tell
here.
Dawn, let it go.
Huh?
Dawn.
Let it go,
Sorry.
unfortunately.
It's the second time it's come.
And I apologize, but we called in the translator and they didn't show. We'll deal with them.
He said none of you
We'll-
speak Spanish, and so
We'll
none
deal
of
with them tomorrow.
That's what I figured he said, yeah.
Anyone else wishing to speak at the public hearing, please?
Good evening. I was,
Name.
Can I have a name and address for the record,
yeah,
please?
thank you, yeah. Lee Piers, 11 Anthony Lane in Chyli. I was here because I was interested to find out if there's any avenues that we can take or explore for new lighting. I had a discussion in the past with David and about North Chyli Hubbard Park. There's no existing lighting within that park area at all. It's very dark at night. So I wasn't sure how this goes. So I'm just kind of putting this out, presenting this as something that could be, I guess, formally examined, I guess, and tracked to see, and evaluated to see if it's feasible. That something that, does that make sense?
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense, and we have had these discussions, Mr. Lindsay and I, because as you might imagine, several of people in that area would like to see more lighting over in that park, as I would too. There are some challenges with that. A lot of it, some of it with the residential proximity to residential properties and lighting being lit up at night into their back windows and bedroom windows and kitchen windows.
Yeah,
So there have been some challenges there, but we have had discussions about it. It's not a dead issue. It is certainly on our radar to try and see what we can do to increase and enhance lighting in the park.
So is there a certain area in the park that you're looking for lighting? Is there,
Well, the park isn't that large.
no, but I mean, is there a certain area though? I mean, you're looking for the or the basketball courts, the tennis courts. You're looking at the ball fields, you're looking at the parking lot. I mean,
Besides, there's a parking area, and then there's also, I believe, a shelter there that's
well, that, you know, that we had,
in the dark.
Right.
And there's been
Yes, there's
activity.
been some instances there.
Sure, you know, that's
Yep.
for safety's sake, and
so I didn't know if there's something specific that you were, a certain area. Or
that's the
did-
specific.
the
Yeah,
general.
That would be the two
the-
areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know the building is used for you got the wheelchairs and
Oh, yeah.
other items that are inside there.
And I would dare say, I think that's lit.
Yeah, it is.
That is.
It is.
Yeah,
fairly well lit.
and that would make sense.
Yep,
But
right next to the plaza as well.
park itself, the shelter area, and then the opposite, it would be the south area of the park.
Yeah. The shelter right next to the playground.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's,
It gets,
Yep, well, I
it's a
know.
lot of,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
I live in the area, so I'm very familiar with it.
Characters there, so,
Yep.
yeah, that's the concern, so.
Yep.
Right.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
for hearing me.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Anyone else like to speak at the public hearing?
Linda Smallfus, 35 Attridge Road. I have some questions about the budget. On page 1, there is, to be quite honest with you, that was a very complicated piece of information to look through, but I am familiar with credit card fees. And I saw there was like $12,000 in credit card fees, and in parentheses, $13,500. Can you just explain that a little bit?
And then if I can ask you, you said page 1, there's multiple page 1s, so page 1 of what?
Well, I thought it was page 1 of 7 or
So-
page
It
1
is
of
page
9.
107.
Okay.
So the adjusted budget that you're seeing of the $12,000 was adjusted for the 2023 budget. The 2024 tentative budget has it at $13,500. We accept credit cards for various things
For
in the town.
payments.
For payment of things, and these are the fees we pay the credit card companies for those things.
Okay, thank you. Also, now I have it as page 7, so use of money and property, and under that is interest and earnings. So, interest and earnings, I guess explain that category to me.
Interest and earnings, I believe, are all the things that when we have money that we put into CDs, treasury notes, things like that, and that is interest and earnings from those.
Okay, and so it's not just a plain savings account, which you get like .25.
There's some of that included in that.
You try to get a better rate of return.
We're getting better rate of return on treasury notes and on CDs. We do have money that's in a money market account that does earn a slight bit of interest, but that is included in that.
Okay. And then, again, I have page 5 or 6, and I'm sorry, I didn't know there were so many different numbered pages, but it has to do with employee benefits. Could you just go over each one of those a little bit and explain it?
Top of page 6.
What is it you're specifically looking for there, Linda?
Well, if you could just explain each category underneath that.
Well, the state retirement system is just that. We pay money into the state retirement system, which is the benefit of employees. Employees are entitled to a New York State retirement. We pay into that, so that's that amount. Union contract awards are things that we end up paying on various type of things that are in the collective bargaining agreement. Social Security, we pay Social Security benefits. Workers' compensation, again, we pay for workers' compensation. Unemployment insurance is, I think, fairly well self-explanatory. Hospital, medical, and dental, that is our contributions to the hospital, dental, and medical for employees. And other employee benefits is kind of a catch-all for Dan. I don't know what's included in the other OPEB.
And there would be EAP programs, wellness programs. That's the two biggest ones I can think of they're in there.
And so the company that you use for your health care benefit is, do you shop around?
We're part of a healthcare consortium.
Which means what? I'm sorry.
Which means there are several towns and villages and other authorities, government agencies, that are part of this healthcare consortium. Off the top of my head, I don't remember how many are in this
19?
consortium. 19?
I think so.
Yeah, it's large. We use a broker that manages this consortium. And within this, we did just recently, this past year, went out to bid for the services, the healthcare provider. MVP, once again, won the award through the consortium. There's a board of directors for the consortium. There's membership. Each town, village, entity is represented at these meetings, and they all vote on the actions of the board.
It allows us as a small town to be able to be part of a bigger group to get better rates. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, another question. Deputy supervisor, I see gets an additional $6,000. What does that job description include?
When the supervisors, the deputy supervisor would be in charge if the supervisor is incapacitated, unable to serve and do his thing. There are times when I'm on vacation, I'm away, deputy supervisor becomes in charge of things in the operations in the town, has to come in and make sure that checks are taken care of, that the finances are, vouchers and things like that we incur are approved. So it's basically taking over for me when I'm unable to do what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else like to speak at the public hearing?
Patricia Gordon, 10 Alderbush. I don't have the materials in front of me, but I thought that the notice that we received about this meeting indicated that Pumpkin Hill was part of a lighting district. Pumpkin Hill was mentioned somewhere in there.
It is.
It is.
It is.
So I'm confused because I thought you were saying that Pumpkin Hill was not included in the lighting.
No, it is, I'm sorry. Yes, it's right here as a part of the public hearing. Pumpkin Hill is a part of the lighting district.
Oh, okay, so.
It is a lighting district in and of itself.
It's just not in the lighting district one, when they talk about the town-wide one, that was the difference, when the supervisor was explaining it, right? It's listed separate.
There are separate lighting districts.
Okay.
Each lighting district gets taxed, if you will. They pay a fee, it's a tax, so they're taxed based upon the lighting in their district. So they're all going to be probably a little bit different, but there is the consolidated lighting district number one, which is basically the catch-all for that aren't specified. The Chili Industrial and Pumpkin Hill, Blueberry Hill, and the Parklands of Chili. Those are all individual on their own lighting districts.
So does that mean that the streetlights within Pumpkin Hill are owned by the town? Or maintained by the town?
They are the town. We do own those.
We will own the poles on those streetlights, and RG&E owns the fixture heads. The district essentially pays for the usage, the electricity for those lights. If a pole gets knocked down or something like that, that's what the district pays for.
That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Anyone else like to speak at the public hearing? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and we will move on to the public forum. Anyone wishing to speak at the public forum, please step up, state your name and address for the record, and you shall be heard. Seeing none, move on to matters of the supervisor. I don't, outside of the budget, I think the budget was very, very, very good budget for the town. Anyone who's seen the cover letter and the information that's contained in this budget, it's an outstanding budget. And that's really, I want to thank Director of Finance, Dan Knapp, for the work that he's done over the years. For anybody who's really paid attention to this particular budget, this is a culmination of probably close to 10 years worth of work trying to put something together to put the town into a really excellent position financially. He's done a great job. We've worked very, very close together, trying to keep these budgets tight, and continually trying to bring our tax rate down and our expenses down and our budgeting down. I want to thank Dan for the work that he's put into this. Again, it's been a 10-year labor of love for him, putting all this together, working with me and some of the things that we've tried to do, not only just take care of our employees, but take care of our taxpayers too. So we've done a really good job, yeah. This is this $2.60 per thousand is the lowest tax rate this town has seen since at least the 70s that I can pinpoint. So it's just a great job. So Dan, thank you. Appreciate all the work that you do to put this all together, and the time beyond your normal 35-hour week that you put into these budgets. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, just like to mention, for those who don't know, I think it's coming up, is there before our next town board meeting anyways, we have our Halloween event, which is Saturday the 29th. Rings a bell to me. Over at the community center, 28. Okay, it's a very well attended event. So bring the kids out. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of candy gets handed out that day. So
noon to 2. I think it's noon
to 2. Yep, noon to 2. So other than that, I don't have anything else. Anybody matters of the council?
Supervisor, if I could, I think it's just to reiterate to the people that may be watching at home or people in the audience that are concerned about the town government and the way that things are operated. When you talk about the town budget, and I'll just go to the cover letter once again. This resulted in a reduction of the town tax rate by 67 cents or 20.4% to a rate of $2.60, as you mentioned, to the lowest rate since the 1970s. So I just want to say that is definitely to the leadership from this town, to the town employees, to Dan and all the other department heads, as we just got done meeting with them, all the department heads, and our director of library is here tonight as well, Jeff Baker, and the job that they do, keeping our taxpayers in mind, operating efficiently, effectively to provide the services that our town residents have come to expect and deserve. So I just want to say thanks to everyone involved for that. So when you look at the tax rate, I know people, as you go out, you meet people, talk to people, they're concerned about their taxes. And I would say, I would challenge them to look to see at the different tax rates that are coming out of, whether it's your local, your town, or your village. Look at your school taxes, look at your county taxes, and see where the town tax rate is compared to the other ones. And I will guarantee you, we are the lowest in the services that we provide, from your roads being paved, to your roads being plowed, to the recreation programs, to the senior programs, to the library, to all the different things, the leaf pickup, the brush pickup, and the maintenance of our roads. And when you look at the cost, going to the grocery store, you see the cost of what these items are. I know it's very frustrating, as a family trying to provide and what the cost is at the grocery store. And it's no different than the oil that's in our asphalt, the stone that we have to purchase. So when it comes to a road project, putting fuel in our plows in the middle of winter, when they're out, these guys are working their long shifts. It really came together for a great budget, and I just want to make sure that people see this and understand that. So.
Thank you. I just to piggyback off that a little bit. I am not popular with the rest of the supervisors in Monroe County right now, I can tell you that, with the reduction that we've had in our expenses and our levy. And, being, I believe we're some 50 or 20 some odd percent below the tax cap. Am I wrong? Was it 20 or 50%? It's in the cover letter there. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we're so below the tax cap and the amount of money that we cut out of our budget this year. The other supervisors are not happy with me, because they can't do the same for their towns.
And simultaneously, we took care of our
We took care of our people,
Took care of our
too, at
people.
the same time.
The other point I wanted to remind everybody of is that there is going to be a meeting tomorrow night if people have questions about assessments. So isn't it tomorrow night, the 12th?
I'm aware of this.
That Mary was holding, she planned to hold this, I thought I saw it on social media. I'll get back to
Well,
you.
you can't believe everything you see on social media.
I know, but I didn't put it on my calendar, my apologies for the specifics.
I thought it was about Star.
Was it about the STAR program and things? But it was the assessors having an informational meeting that you can come and ask questions and get your questions answered about assessments. It's a very confusing thing, you know, people are, every year, people have questions about their assessment and there's misunderstandings about how the whole process works. So I just thought I would mention that.
Okay. Anything else?
Sorry.
We have the minutes from both of the September meetings. Also, we have several reports that have been submitted. With that, we'll move on to new business, Resolution 229, lead agency and seeker determination for the rezoning of 4400 Buffalo Road from RM residential multifamily to GB general business.
Move.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman DeCory, second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman
Aye.
Slattery? Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 230, rezoning of 4400 Buffalo Road.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, second by Councilman Valerio. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 231, record of work activities.
Moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman Valerio, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 232, in memory of Marie Sperling, I will move this. The town board second it, and I will read this resolution in its entirety. So this is Resolution 232 in memory of Therese Sperling. Whereas the town board of the town of Chi find it befitting to extend our deepest sympathy to the Sperling family during the passing of, I'm going to say Terry Sperling, who was
Terry.
September 24th, 2023, passed away. And whereas Terry Sperling served from August 21st, 1989 to March 20th, 2023 as a library clerk part-time in the Chi Library. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Chi hereby sets aside this special page of their minutes from the town board meeting in her honor, and takes a moment of silence for Terry Sperling's memory. The town clerk is hereby directed to send a copy of this resolution to the Sperling family. We'll take a vote first, and then we'll take a moment of silence, please. Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. At this time, we'll take a moment of silence in the memory of Terry Sperling. Thank you. Resolution 233, Chi Fire Department active list.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Valerio.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 234, Chi Fire Department removed from active list.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Slattery.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 235, ARPA SLFRF funds, I hate, and MVP grant.
Moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Spare, second by Councilman Valerio?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 236, Brick Walk Reserve Fund.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Slattery,
Second.
second by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 237, general repairs and maintenance for town roadways reserve.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Slattery,
Second.
second by Councilman DeCoury. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 238, townwide drainage reserve.
Moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilwoman Spare,
Second.
second by Councilman Valerio. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 239, employer medical contribution 2024. Moved by Councilman
Second.
Valerio, second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments?
Supervisor, if I could real quick, we have some new people in the audience, and people are wondering, why we may not have dialogue or questions. We do our due diligence beforehand. If there's a question like for the highway department or a budget issue, we'll talk to the department heads, we'll get information. This way we have an understanding of what we're voting on. So we just try to do our due diligence beforehand to just make sure we understand what is taking place or what's going on. So in case, people were asking or questioning. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 240, flexible spending account for town employees 2024.
Move.
Moved by Councilman DeCoury,
Second.
second by Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments?
Supervisor, just to reiterate, we just went through the budget, and there was questions that some of the audience asked about it. We have our budgets with us, so some of these may pertain to the budget, so that was already discussed on with the department head. So, that's where we also have that understanding. So when you talk about the flexible spending or what have you. And it could be a union contract issue that as well, so.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 241, set a public hearing for the adoption of an extension of a 6-month moratorium on smoke and vape shops in the town of Shiloh.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 242, purchase of pickup trucks for highway.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DeCoury, second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. I'll move Resolution 243, and the town board in its entirety will second this resolution. I will read this resolution again in its entirety. It's Resolution 243 in memory of John Nowicki. Whereas the town board of the town of Shiloh find it befitting to extend its deepest sympathy to the Nowicki family during the passing of John Nowicki, who on October 6, 2023, passed away. And whereas John Nowicki served from 7/14/1976 to 1/18/1977 as a zoning board member, and from 1/19/77 to 3/15/77 as the vice chair of the zoning board, and from 3/16/77 to 7/1/1979 as chair of the zoning board, from 6/30/1979 to 12/31/1983 as a town councilman, and from 8/15/1984 to 12/13/2017 as a planning board member. Yeah. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shiloh hereby sets aside this special page of their minutes from this town board meeting in his honor and takes a moment of silence in John Nowicki's memory. The town clerk is hereby directed to send a copy of this resolution to the Nowicki family, i.e. the supervisor, if you would please, town clerk. At this time, I'll ask for
Roll call.
roll call. Thank you.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. This time we'll take a moment of silence in the memory of John Nowicki. Thank you. I'd just like to say, I'm a little biased. John is a family member. His son and my sister are married. I've known John since the early 70s. And what John did for this town over his time here was incredible. I've often teased him over the years and basically told him that he was actually older than most of the dirt in Chi-Li. So, and he was famous for his one comment at the town board meeting, putting 10 pounds of expletive in a 5-pound bag. He was famous for some of those comments at our planning board meetings, but his service to the community was incredible. And I would like to just honor John by, part of the reason I even sit here today is because of John Nowicki. When I first met John Nowicki back in the early 70s, he was at a family function. My sister and he was then her boyfriend. We were sitting at a family function talking, and John loved to talk. That was his job, talking. He loved to talk. He was very, and I was nothing but a 15, 16-year-old kid, and he was talking with me, and we're having a conversation. He says, David, whatever you do, when you settle into a town, when you get somewhere and you settle in, you get involved with that town, because there's nothing more important than getting involved in your town. And when you look at the dates that John Nowicki served this town, that really is proof of that. But it appears that I actually listened to him, and it took him very seriously, because when I moved to Chi-Li, I got very involved with the town nearly right away, and part of the reason I sit here today. So,
well, John was
you're in a
also
good place now, John. You're where you wanted to be. So.
Yeah, John worked an incredible, I don't know the number of years at Manitowoc Gravel, and he also gave back to the community, was active in the community. He's a past president of the Chamber of Commerce, and he was an emeritus, so he did an incredible amount of work. He was my golfing buddy at the Chamber Golf Tournament every year until his health failed and he couldn't do it anymore. But yes, John was a good egg, and we're really going to miss him.
And David, if I could as well, before I was elected to town board, I served on a couple different committees, and one of them was the Drainage Committee. And if you ever went over to John's house and you went to his library of information, the history, and he was a wealth of it. And if you had a question, he'll tell you about areas that weren't developed and issues that were there, and just going through the planning process, or whatever role he was involved with at the town. Just having that wealth of knowledge that you can rely on, that you could go to. And as a young person, he definitely was, number one, he encouraged you. He, helped educate you. He wanted you to make the right decision, not from a political standpoint, but for a resident standpoint. And if you go back and you watched him, when he was on planning board, even zoning board, I had more of a, relation to him when he was on the planning board. But when you watched him and you listened to him, and the compassion that he had for the residents, because he knew that the decision that planning board was going to make was going to impact so many, or impact a few, and that didn't matter to him. It was going to impact somebody, and he wanted to make sure that it was done right. And he wanted to make sure the developer or the engineer, that they were doing their due diligence and looking out for the interests of the community as well as their client. So he was a stand-up guy, just somebody who I respected daily, and Wegmans hate to see him pass because he went there every day as well.
As well as his wife Gail did too, yeah.
Well, his sons and my sister would not necessarily agree with the benefit of that library. His wife passed away a couple of years ago, and he moved into a more manageable type of environment. They ended up having to clean all that out.
Yep.
And it was there was some labor involved there. So, thank you. Anything else? All right. So Resolution 244, letter of credit release number 1 for Victory Express 350 International Boulevard. Moved by Councilman Valerio.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 245, September 20th, 2023, abstract. Moved by Councilwoman Spare,
Second.
second by Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 246, October 4th, 2023, abstract.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Valerio, seconded by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0.
David?
Regulars.
Real quick, Dawn, was that the interpreter that showed up late?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, thank you.
It came in at 7:25. So
Make sure we don't get a bill for that.
I've already called.
Okay, thank you. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Chi-Town Board will be November 15th. This meeting is adjourned.